In 1993, readers of Dark Horse comics were introduced to a predator that was like no other. A psychotic, unhinged murderer with an insatiable lust for blood. This Yautja would go on a mindless killing spree, showing no remorse or reason as it turned the Pine Barrens of New Jersey into a horrific slaughterhouse. Surely, this merciless serial killer could only be stopped by its equally brutal counterpart from Marvel Comics. An executioner of all major criminals who punishes the guilty with his own brand of violent vigilante justice. Can a ruthless alien assassin be stopped by an equally unruly anti-hero? We try to find out as the Bad Blood takes on the Punisher in Schizofenik's Face Off. Before we knuckle down to tonight's main event, I wanted to make it clear that I will be analysing these characters' strengths and weaknesses across my 10 categories. I will award each character a mark out of 10 before tallying up their totals in order to determine my winner. For the Bad Blood, there is a 4-part comic series to use as my source of information, however I have many more to choose from for the Punisher. Despite this, I will only focus on the original version of the Punisher and completely ignore subsequent superpowered variations of the character. With all that said, let's introduce our combatants. In the red corner, we have the original bad boy Yautja, who was introduced to readers in the 1993 comic book series, aptly titled Predator Bad Blood. Just imagine if the Predator from the original movie crash-landed on Earth, went on a steroid cycle, lost his sanity, and initiated a mindless killing spree, murdering anything in its path. Just consider if it did not disarm to fight Dutch in the final encounter, if it did not hesitate to kill an unarmed Anna, and even slew the porcupine before blasting through Blaine. If you can imagine that, then you would not be too far away from the Bad Blood. From the moment we met this Yautja, his damaged visor symbolically illustrated that his mask of sanity had slipped. However, if this did not make the point clear enough, the subsequent panels would hammer that idea home beyond any possible doubt. First, we witnessed the gnarly remains of his cannibalized victims, which were actually other Yautja. This predator was so far removed from the honor code that it not only killed, but even preyed on its own kind. With complete disregard for the honor code, it proudly sported the skulls of its Yautja victims on its costume, and even wore kinky nipple rings to show that it was into that kind of thing. This sadomasochistic predator would dance in the blood of its defenseless victims, butchering them with bladed weapons and tearing off heads in its hands-on approach to murder. It would literally kill anyone or anything that got in its way, including a spider that was just minding its own business. With its trophy cabinet growing out of control, a Yautja Special Forces operative was tasked with assassinating him, but was ultimately met with the same fate as the Bad Blood's lawless killing spree continued. Ultimately, the nightmare finally came to an end when the last surviving CIA agent Mandy Greaves shot the alien hunter dead as it was trying to devour the head of Deputy Richard Keslow. In the blue corner, we have the vigilante anti-hero Frank Castle, who is better known as the Punisher.
Why are the innocent dead and the guilty alive? Come on, God. Where is justice? Where is punishment?
The American war hero was born Francis Castiglione, but changed his name to Frank Castle so that he could illegally serve a third tour in Vietnam. What a legend! During his service, Castle became a decorated veteran, winning the Bronze and Silver Star, as well as receiving 4 Purple Hearts. However, this dedicated family man's life would take a horrible turn whilst he was on leave in New York, where his family witnessed a murder perpetrated by the Mafia. Not wanting to leave any witnesses alive, his wife and 2 children were gunned down by the mob and Castle was left for dead. This situation became progressively worse when the police investigation was infiltrated by the same criminals who assassinated his family. With his family and belief in the judicial system destroyed, the man known as Frank Castle was dead and the Punisher was born.
Frank is dead, alright?
As a vicious vigilante, this anti-hero would operate outside of the moral code of most superheroes, waging a one-man war on crime as the Punisher. He would utilize a vast arsenal to protect the innocent and punish the guilty, employing a variety of terrifying tactics that included kidnapping, extortion, coercion, violence, torture, and even murder. The Punisher's desire for vengeance and untapped rage has seen him adopt an unforgiving approach to criminals, making him one of the most dangerous men alive.
If you're guilty, you're dead.
With our combatants introduced, let's charge straight into battle with our first round, which analyzes physical traits.
Let's face off!
Round 1. At 6'3" and 225 pounds of solid muscle, the Punisher is a specimen of a man, but even he pales in comparison to a Yautja. However, the Bad Blood is not any predator and is even considered a giant amongst his species. Said to stand at a colossal 8'4", the Bad Blood is at least double the weight of Frank Castle. Additionally, despite possessing a humanoid body, the Bad Blood has other physical weapons such as talons, claws, mandibles, and sharp teeth that could cause a human a variety of damage. This is therefore a crushing first round, and the Bad Blood makes a ferocious start, winning the initial round by 10 points to 8. Round 2. Hugely dedicated to his mission, the Punisher is constantly training his strength and conditioning through vigorous training and exercise regimes. As a result, he has reached peak levels of strength that are near the limits of what is humanly possible. It is said that the Punisher can press in excess of 500 pounds overhead. As we discussed in round 1, the Bad Blood is significantly larger than the Punisher, and it would be logical to believe that he would also be stronger due to that size advantage. However, this is not like comparing the strength of one man to another larger man, as the muscle fibers of a Yautja are far stronger than that of a human. This allows them to carry over 500 pounds of bulk through the trees with ease. The Bad Blood manages to win another 10-8 round and extends his lead. Round 3. The Punisher's intense training routines have helped him develop levels of speed and reflexes that are close to Olympic athletes. Some of his displays of agility have included landing strikes on and dodging attacks from superpowered heroes. As fast as the Punisher is, I do not feel that a human can be faster or more agile than a Yautja. Aside from swinging through the trees and running at high speeds, this predator actually managed to jump into a helicopter in mid-air. Despite being closer than the previous 2 rounds, the Bad Blood still edges it out by 10 points to 9. He adds to his tally, leading the battle by 30 points to 25.
Wait, just wait.
Round 4. As a non-superpowered human, the Punisher is just as susceptible to physical injury and disease like any other person. However, his training and dieting plans have massively helped improve his endurance, healing, longevity, metabolism, and immune system to optimum levels. Furthermore, Castle has an incredibly high pain tolerance and has frequently performed self-surgery without any painkillers, as he believes their numbing effect is not worth the side effects of drowsiness and slowed reflexes. Additionally, he has taken hits from enhanced super soldiers like Black Widow and Captain America. Despite enduring impacts that have sent him flying through walls, Castle has continued to fight on with only minor wounds. Finally, in order to augment his durability, the Punisher often wears bulletproof vests and body armor to protect him from most gunfire. However, he can still suffer penetrative or concussive injury from significantly powerful or repeated impacts. To cut a long story short, he is one tough. Although the Predator is highly durable, it is not invulnerable, and like any Yautja, is susceptible to physical injury or death. His toughness was displayed when he was wounded by the highly skilled Enforcer during their epic battle, yet continued to fight until he proved victorious. Eventually, the Bad Blood was killed when the only remaining member of Pulnik's special unit, Mandy Greaves, gunned him down. With all things considered, I have to conclude that the Bad Blood as a Yautja is more durable than his human adversary. He continues his perfect start in this 10-9 round and gains a massive 6-point lead. This is not proving to be a fight, but a massacre as the Bad Blood continues his path of destruction.
Wait.
Round 5. Discussing heart is difficult when considering the Bad Blood, as he is rarely in a position where he is on the receiving end from his opponent. The only true instance of this is when he is wounded by the Enforcer's bladed weapons, but still perseveres in battle until he defeats his foe. When it comes to heart, the Punisher's desire to persevere is second to none and directly ties in with his durability. Castle's indomitable will has seen him travel for multiple days with a bullet in his chest, fight on with broken limbs, and survive electric torture methods. The Punisher has even proven to be resistant to mental attacks from telepathic beings. With complete control of his mind and consciousness, Castle's heart is one of his greatest strengths. If the Bad Blood is a bully, the Punisher is someone who can fight back as an underdog, prevailing against multiple opponents and more formidable foes. Due to this, the Punisher's willpower sees him succeed as the David against the Bad Blood's Goliath. He finally wins a round, taking it by 10 points to 8.
Whoever you are, I'm coming for you.
Round 6. As a non-superpowered vigilante, the Punisher has to train in numerous martial arts, becoming a seasoned veteran in multiple forms of armed and unarmed combat. In addition to his years of military training as a Marine, he is highly adept in American-style close-quarters combat, Muay Thai, Krav Maga, Sistema, Ninjitsu, Shorin-Ryu Karate, Hwarang-Do, Chin-Na, and Nash-Ryu Jiu-Jitsu. Despite being a brutish bully that preys on those who are weaker than him, the Bad Blood does give us a glimpse of his fighting prowess when he battles his toughest opponent, an Enforcer. Within Yautja culture, the rank of Enforcer is an extremely advanced and respected title. These predators are tasked with the role of terminating any rogue Bad Bloods and are essentially the Yautja police force, ensuring that their code of honour is always upheld. Although he was wounded by the Bad Blood's exploding spacecraft, the Enforcer still provided a significant challenge. The two predators entered a deadly battle to the death as they inflicted major wounds upon each other with bladed weapons. During this fight, the Bad Blood displayed his savagery and brutal animalistic style of combat as he tried to eat the Enforcer's arm. Ultimately, the Bad Blood was accidentally assisted by the CIA chopper, whose machine gun fire hit the Enforcer, resulting in a win for the Bad Blood. So based on the information available, I can deduce that the Bad Blood is a powerful fighter, but not a skilled one. This Yautja seems to rely on brute force and savagery to overcome his victims, where the Punisher is a master combatant who has developed his skills across years of training. With this in mind, I have to give the clear win to the Punisher. He continues his fight back in another 10-8 round.
I'm gonna watch you die.
Round 7.
Show my goddamn guns.
When considering the munitions of an intergalactic hunter, the Bad Blood is not as heavily armed as most Yautja and seems to forgo advanced plasma weaponry for a more intimate bladed arsenal. Despite this, he does have some lethal weapons, which include a Yautja sword and the modified triple wrist blades, which he used to massacre his victims. Additionally, he also utilised a spear, a net gun, and a smart disc to tear through his quarry. This is a round where you would expect a weapons expert like the Punisher to excel. As a specialist on modern warfare, he has received military knowledge across numerous units of the United States Armed Forces. As a result, he has mastered a plethora of weapons, but seems to have a preference for daggers and long-range shooting rifles. Often carrying multiple combat knives, his bladed weapons training through martial arts and the military have given him an extensive knowledge of knife throwing and fighting. Some of his favourite bladed weapons have included the USMC K-Bar, a ballistic knife which can launch its blade with lethal force, and a katana. Further to this, the Punisher is an ambidextrous marksman who rarely misses his target with a variety of firearms. This elite sharpshooter can hit a target from 4 kilometers, and he commonly uses an array of sniper rifles, machine guns, and automatic rifles. Some of his most frequently used firearms have included a variety of machine guns, automatic rifles, and pistols. Furthermore, he often customizes these weapons for greater effectiveness, with attachments including modified optics, reflex sights, night vision scopes, flashlights, grenade launchers, high-capacity magazines, and specialized ammunition like armor-piercing bullets. His array of optics and scopes could certainly help him spot a cloaked Yautja during battle. The Punisher has even utilized crossbows when his mission requires silence and precision. Moreover, his massive arsenal has included an array of fragmentation and tear gas grenades, as well as other explosives. However, should the Punisher find himself in a position where he has exhausted his munitions, he can be highly adaptable and make the most of whatever may be at his disposal. Finally, he is an expert pilot who received helicopter training with the US Army and US Naval Special Warfare Command. After looking at the information available, it is obvious that the Yautja only utilizes primitive weaponry in comparison to the Punisher, who employs a plethora of instruments for modern warfare. For this reason, the Punisher wins this round by 10 points to 8 and finally manages to level the score. This contest is hotting up.
You hear me? I'm gonna watch you die!
Round 8. The Bad Blood's psychotic mental state sees him forgo strategy in favour of charging straight into battle, leaving a horrific aftermath on the scene of his crimes. During the events of the comic, the Bad Blood is presented as an indiscriminate killer with no clear patterns or purpose to his actions. It slew anything from the CIA task force to paintballers and even a spider. However, it could be argued that this unhinged predator's unpredictability is a strategy in itself, as it creates utter chaos. How can you plan to combat something that is so random in its choice of victims and approach to battle? Moreover, its ambush tactics certainly prove successful against highly trained military men like the Punisher, and its victims included police officers, CIA soldiers, and a Black Ops team. In contrast, the Punisher is a meticulous strategist, and his military training in specialist areas like long-range patrol, underwater demolition, and sea, land and air will serve him well in this round. As a street-level anti-hero, Castle normally takes on gangs and crime bosses, therefore when battling superpowered opponents, he would need to rely more on strategy than strength. This would be the case when fighting a being like the Bad Blood, so the Punisher would need to plan thoroughly for this battle, analysing its strengths and weaknesses before engaging it. This master tactician has single-handedly defeated numerous well-armed and experienced opponents in a single encounter whilst escaping uninjured. His military training and attention to detail have allowed him to take on and overcome more powerful beings than himself, like the Bad Blood. Therefore, I feel that this is a crushing win for the Punisher, who takes the round by 10 points to 7. The impressive comeback continues as the Punisher manages to take the lead for the first time in this contest. Round 9. Like any Yautja, the Bad Blood decapitates, flays and hangs its victims as an ominous warning to others of its presence. Additionally, it also mimics its prey, repeating phrases to mock and intimidate its quarry. However, perhaps its most terrifying trait is the way it charges into battle with ferocity, completely dismembering its victims by tearing off heads and ripping out spines. It would prefer to ominously display the severed heads of its victims on its belt, as opposed to just the skulls of its kills like most Yautja. As a ruthless vigilante, the Punisher is fully aware that criminals laugh at the law. Due to this, he ensures that they do not laugh at him by kidnapping, torturing, and even murdering his enemies. Castle utilises psychology to further compound their fear, which was evident when he kicked Myuu into her burning house. On other occasions, he has fed his victims to predatory animals like polar bears and great white sharks. Yes, the Punisher has found a way to make death even more terrifying. With all things considered, I think that the Punisher edges out this close round.
Here is punishment. Here in me.
Round 10. When it comes to killer instinct, it was evident that the Bad Blood's kill gland had gone into overdrive as he disregarded the honor code which outlines the rules of the hunt for Yautja. The Bad Blood proved to be one of the deadliest predators ever, crossing all the boundaries and killing the unarmed, the innocent, and even cannibalizing other Yautja. It sadistically restrained and ate these individuals as we witnessed the gruesome remains of their mutilated bodies on its spaceship. His armour told a story too, consisting of the skulls of its own kind, as well as the bones of his prey as he proudly displayed the severed heads of his human victims. This psychopathic individual butchered over 50 hapless victims in the most gruesome fashion. It preferred to get up close and personal with its bladed weapons in order to savour the expressions of its dying victims. All the aforementioned victims were met with the same fate as they were horrifically hacked to pieces by the Yautja as his bloodlust proved insatiable. Even when the CIA's chopper accidentally gunned down the enforcer, the Bad Blood showed no appreciation for the unintentional assistance and jumped into the chopper, killing everyone on board. The Bad Blood's cruelty to all things living was also a theme in the story, as it killed a spider and even displayed the severed head of a dog it slaughtered on a spike. Therefore, you may think that this round would be an easy victory for the Bad Blood, however the Punisher may have something to say about that. Once classified by Nick Fury's intel as being power level 6 or greater due to his fighting skills, weaponry, and his use of lethal force, the Punisher has no compunction in administering the death penalty to violent criminals in the most brutal way. This is something that Billy the Beaut Russo came face to face with when the Punisher threw him through a glass window pane. This killing machine has frequently tortured and even murdered his enemies in his war on crime. His brutal nature and willingness to kill has made him one of the most dangerous men alive. Despite this, the Punisher does have a method to his madness and targets the unlawful. However, the Bad Blood is an indiscriminate mindless killer who preys on anything unlucky enough to cross his path. As a result, I have to give the edge to the Bad Blood as his killer instinct is out of control. He narrowly wins the final round by 10 points to 9. Despite clawing back a point, the Bad Blood has ultimately been defeated by the Punisher, who has prevailed in this battle by 93 points to 90. This was a truly epic encounter where the Bad Blood won the first half of the fight before the Punisher mounted an awesome comeback during the second half. In my opinion, the Bad Blood really lost the battle on the weaponry and strategic intelligence rounds, where its lack of advanced weaponry and haphazard approach cost him the victory. Perhaps if he used a plasma caster and strategized like Wolf from AVPR, he may have won this encounter. As a result, the Bad Blood has finally been punished for his crimes. Regardless of the outcome, I hope that you enjoyed this face-off battle, and if you did, then please suggest other fights that you would like to see in the comment section. Until then, it's goodbye from me. Take care.